Proud as always to be joined by the head coach of UND Hockey, Brad Berry. Brad, your team coming back to Grand Forks after a weekend in Denver. Kind of a similar story, getting the job done, at least in terms of shots on goal, pace of play, etc., but not getting the result that you wanted over the course of the weekends.
Yeah, you know what, I thought we came out in the first period on Friday night and outplayed Denver in all different categories, and they got on the scoreboard first, and I thought we did a good job of playing hard the whole game and not getting rewarded for it. But again, it's one of those things where it's kind of the same thing. Not getting the result after playing a 60-minute game. So again, we have to make sure that we try to get better in a few different areas.
Yeah, you mentioned the Friday night contest. You outshot the Pioneers 19-6 in the opening 20 minutes. I think 46-27 over the course of the game. But they get a couple bounces and they find themselves up 2-0. You have to kind of fight your way back after that early hold. But obviously, again, like you said, the start that you wanted in that contest, what allowed you to jump on them early?
Yeah, for sure. And the biggest thing is puck possession, playing there in the rink, and that's what we did. We didn't capitalize on some of the chances. Power plays, I think we had 4 or 5 of them there. We needed to score 1 goal on the power play at least to give yourself a chance, because special teams this time of year is so vitally important, and we didn't do that. The other thing is we scored a goal late where it wasn't pretty. We just got a puck to the net and we had jammed it in with 3-4 guys at the net, and that's what it's going to take to get it going offensively.
Yeah, when you can see time starting to wind down, you put the pressure on, and just to not find a way to get one pass. Obviously, their goaltender played great all weekends. You could see, though, the desire from your guys to try and find that equalizer. Frustrating, obviously, to not get one on Friday night when you had played so well.
Yeah, it is, and but you got to keep working. You got to keep working with the things that you do from a day-to-day basis of trying to push through, and it can become frustrating if you can't get on the scoreboard consistently. We've always found that the first 1 to 3 usually wins a game, and it was reminiscent this weekend where you score 3 goals each game and it's good enough to win. So again, it's one of those things where whether it's 5-on-5 or specialty teams, you got to be sharp and you got to be dialed in to try to get to that 3.
Yeah, so you got the 2-1 win in Game 1 on Friday nights. You expected obviously a good push from your squad, and you got that on Saturday, but you had a little adversity to fight through early, a 5-minute major in a game misconduct to Dixon Bowen. You had to fight through a 5-on-3 over the course of that time, but your guys hung in there and you managed to kill that off, even though they scored right after the fact.
Yeah, that was a big part of the game. We want to play aggressive, and that was a situation where Dixon went to finish a check, and unfortunately, the guy went in the boards and fell down, and it was a 5-minute major. Debatable, but it was a 5-minute major, and we killed that off, combined with a minor that we took along killing a penalty. The biggest thing is when you're killing a 5-minute major, you can't take the other 2-minute minor to make it a goal of 5-on-3, but we did kill it. Unfortunately, right at the end of the kill, they whip a puck from below the goal line and it goes off one of the shin pads in front of the net to give them the lead again. But our guys battled after that. We got momentum off that kill, and I thought we did a good job of getting back on the tracks again.
Yeah, and you can see that it was 1-0 at that point after the goal pops in for them. It looks like you tied it up. Jasper Weatherby with a great individual effort to score on the wraparounds. Tough disallowed goal. That's kind of been another sort of theme of this season, just the calls not really going your way on that night.
Yeah, and again, it's another call that, hopefully it would have went our way to tie the game up, but it's kind of frustrating the fact that it was called a goal on the ice, and then later reviewed, it was disallowed, and it's so tough to score in the NCHC, and you don't get rewarded for it, and sometimes you see in the NHL games that they just, if a goal is counted, they let it be, and again, it's one of those things where the call didn't go with us, but we managed to stay with the game.
Yeah, Hayden Shaw had a great quote after the fact saying, we're kind of expecting all of our goals now just to be reviewed and looked at this point in the season. Yeah. Hayden, though, was able to step up, make a great individual play at the end of the second period to tie things up at 1. That's a senior kid that just didn't want to see his team fall.
Yeah, well, that shows the leadership that he has, being here for 4 years, and, the care that he has. And he made a good individual play to score that goal, and we had a lot of momentum going in and around that play, and it's just unfortunate we couldn't get more of those plays.
Yeah, tough finish in the end. You force overtime and then make it to 3-on-3. Denver scores with about 18 seconds left to get the extra point in the standings. So a tough loss and a tie over the course of the weekends, but a lot of positives still to take from. Another great performance by Adam Shield over the course of the weekend. I think 51 saves on 54 shots. Another strong advantage in the face-off circle. Just got to find a way to get over the hump and turn those ties into victories.
Yeah, and again, it's the little things, right? It's finding a way to score a couple more goals to get you to that number 3. And especially teams trying to, like a power play, when you get the advantage, you got to try to bury one. And we got to, we're playing well defensively. It's that thing offensively where you need to just try to keep grinding away. And if things aren't coming your way, you got to simplify and make sure you have pucks and bodies going to the net, and eventually it'll come.
Yeah, you mentioned the great defensive effort. That was done without your junior defense captain. And Colton Pullman didn't make the trip out to Denver. What can you tell us about his status moving forward?
Well, he's day-to-day, and we got back early Sunday morning there, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. He was there to meet us here, and he's moving around very well, and he skated on by himself here on Sunday, and it's one of those things where he's making a progression, but we got to make sure it's in the right way, and hopefully he'll be ready for Western Michigan.
Yeah, injuries always difficult to fight through, but it does come at a good time with the open week coming up. You mentioned Western Michigan still 2 weeks away. Feels like the bye is coming at a good time for your squad to get healed up and ready to go for the final 8 games of the regular season.
Yeah, a couple things go into that. I think it gets everybody close to being healthy again and refreshed and revitalized here, but also a chance for us to work on a couple different things to try to make that push in the last 8 games. And the biggest thing is our guys have even more so belief now than ever before, and it's because they're a tight team, and they have a lot of North Dakota mentality in them.
Yeah, as you look at these next 2 weeks or so with a chance to work with the guys a little more closely, with more time to prepare, you mentioned working on a few things. What are some of the specifics you do want to see this team improve upon over the next 2 weeks before you play at Western Michigan?
Well, we believe probably finishing plays, right? You have all that OZP time and, pucks on your tape and different things, having good net front, having situations where, you're not missing nets. You're just working on the details of your game to try to squeeze 1 or 2 more goals out. And obviously power play is a big part of that too.
Yeah, and then last thing for you, Coach, again, it's going to be an important stretch. Again, those final 8 games are going to really decide this season in a lot of ways. Yeah. What's the message now to the guys as you get ready to enter the most important part of the year?
Well, I think it's one of those things that right now, we're kind of right in the middle of the pack in the NCHC, and pairwise we're just on the outside looking in just a little bit here, and it's trying to firmly solidify, keep moving up the rankings. And one of the things is the most important thing right now is the players, the coaches, and the staff together being consolidated and working together as a group. Because I know, when you hear the noise and on the perimeter, there's a little bit of doom and gloom there, but you got to make sure that everybody is working together, and our guys are really tight as a group.
Yeah, that always seems to be the way this team works. Well, Coach, best of luck now getting the guys healthy over the course of the next couple of weeks. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Brad Berry.